Hey guys, gonna go through one of my Sims builds today. It's my first time doing this, so everybody welcome. So I started with the outside of this house. This is actually one of the houses in Oasis Springs. I just started with repainting the outside of it. This house is one of them that I just personally, every time I have a sim play in this house, I completely redo the inside of it. It's super boring. There's absolutely nothing to the inside of this house. So, yeah, I just wanted to redo it and make it look a little nicer, especially with all of the new stuff that we have in the different expansion packs and stuff packs and whatnot. Just wanted to make it actually livable. Um, Here is just trying to figure out what plants should go on the outside of it because there's a lot of different desert ones, but there was only a few that I thought actually looked good with it. These little barrel cactus plants I thought were adorable, so I added a few of those, and then I thought I would just add some rock detailing to a few of the plants. I redid the pillar here. I really don't like that cylindrical one that they had before. And it was here that I realized that I hadn't finished the roof and I was kind of getting distracted. So I went ahead and re-shingled the top of it and added a border to the roof. And here I just did some different style and color swatches to figure out what looked the best. I settled on this darker tan gray color because I thought it matched the rest of the house really well. So here I redid the lights and the little like amenity things outside. I left the trash can where it's at because I didn't actually mind that style of trash can or the location. I kind of thought about redoing it and putting it somewhere else, but honestly, I just didn't mind where it was at, so I just left it. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm deleting all the lights here to replace them with the ceiling lights just so I can get a better look, but the inside of this house just leaves so much to be desired. There's just absolutely nothing going on in here. And it's so blatantly obvious every time that you play in this house that it just nothing really goes together. It's all base game, obviously, but it's all early base game. So it's just not very good patterns and colors and super cheap everything. Um, I did actually like what they did with the wall colors though. So I left the white that they had, but then I changed to the other color because I didn't care for that as much and I didn't think it would match what I was about to put in there. But I ended up using one of the updated swatches for these cabinets, and as you can see, I was really struggling in the corner. They were not auto going together, and so I just had to manually do it. But I ended up using this swatch because I thought, one, it matches the wall really well, but I also, since they updated it and added this swatch, I have just really enjoyed these cabinets in particular, and I don't get to use them very often, so I thought this was a perfect chance to use them. I also struggled with the stove, as you saw. I was trying to have a stove with the back so that it would match up with the cabinets, but I really didn't want to use this stove. It's one of the cheaper ones, but I ended up just going with it anyway. It was the only one that fit the way I wanted it to. And here I kind of did some experimenting with a shelf, and I ended up getting rid of the whole thing in a little bit, but I definitely want to use this in one of my future builds because I liked the way that it looked. It just seemed like it took up too much space when I was working with it, and I ended up finding a much better way to do what I was doing. So I ended up changing it to that. But here I'm just alt placing this plant, and then in my search to find that shelf again, I ended up finding this shelf, which I liked a lot better and I thought looked a lot nicer over the window because it's like you have your little plants on the shelf and they get lots of sunlight there. So I ended up changing it to that instead. So here I'm just filling out the countertops. I put in the sink and then realized the shelf was too low. But I'm just filling out what's on the counters. These RGB string light things that came in the high school pack have been some of my absolute favorites because I used to put the like luminescent, fluorescent, these things underneath all of the cabinets to kind of give the effect that there's a light underneath. And these RGB lights are just so much better and they give so much more light. So I've been using those a lot lately. I thought I wasn't going to be able to fit one on the far left cabinet, but I ended up fixing it later with a larger cabinet next to it. I thought this person would be really into tea. I tried to do a more like greenery, plant focused house. So I have some tea on the counter and some of the like herbal medicine stuff that comes with the Get Famous pack. It's like an advertising thing, but I thought it fit the vibe of the counter very well. And then I just ended up placing a little incense guy here to complete the little trio in the corner there. Here's that cabinet I was talking about where I ended up realizing, hey, if that cabinet covers that, I can use that light like I want to. So I ended up putting that back. And I wasn't quite sure what to do with this corner, but I ended up just making it like a little seating area that goes along with this island. So here I'm just figuring out what I want to do with the island. I ended up making it slightly shorter with the end piece. And then I wanted to use these stools, but ended up finding that the like desert pack had nicer ones that I liked. I really like those little wooden stools too. As you'll see later, I really tried to make the vine curtain work. I love that item so much, and I'm always trying to find ways to stick it into my builds, but I ended up going with these sheer curtains that I was just on. I thought they looked a little bit nicer. The greenery ones don't really fit what I'm doing here, but man, I really tried. Not just in this room, but in the bedroom later as well. This plant has also become one of my absolute favorites. I have one of these plants myself, and I just find them to be super cute. So I always enjoy adding that plant to different builds that I have. And that little plant that I put on the counter, I just thought was super cute. So I wanted to include him as well. But here's where I really wanted to set another plant in there and make it kind of like a little greenery corner, but I just could not find a plant that I thought fit very well up there. So I ended up just making it this little seating area with the family chart. I ended up adding some clutter later on, but kind of moved on to the other rooms here. I thought that, I don't know, every time I play in this house, I just always feel like the bedroom needs to be closed off. Like, it just seems weird to me that there's just an opening into that bedroom because it's clearly like a one bedroom house, but it's just not connected. Here's me just adding some extra clutter. Like I said, I really like those plant lights. So I ended up adding those over the counter. I saw those in another build and was like, I'm gonna do that. Next time I make an island, I'm gonna do that. So I added those in at the last minute. This living room, I could not figure out how I wanted to orientate myself to work on it. And then I just really struggled picking out a couch for it. I ended up going to this one from the desert pack that I don't know why, but I keep using this one in my builds lately. It's like I just figured out that it exists and I've been using it a ton. I cut out a lot of this living room bit, but I was really struggling to figure out a color scheme with this because when I first started building in here, like I was kind of going off of the carpet as if that's what I was going to keep in there. And so everything was colored to match the carpet. And then once I changed that, it just completely threw off the whole vibe that I had in this room. So I ended up completely changing that. So I started with this dark wood which I still really like, and I think there's a lot of different ways that you can change the swatches for this living room to fit whatever color scheme you're going for, because I did this whole living room. I ended up doing it in like black and brown, but you definitely can just do it in like a tan and brown scheme as well. Um, but I just found that the like black ended up looking a lot better because this is where I was trying to go off of the browns, and I wanted to make something interesting for this wall over here with the window. So I ended up doing some wood planks, but I just did so many swatches of this and I cut all of it out because I kept swatching and re-swatching and changing it. And like they're all brown right now, but I didn't end up keeping it that way because after I placed this plant shelf, I was like, okay, I absolutely hate all the brown that's going on in this room. So I ended up changing this to black, and then I ended up changing the swatch of the paintings on the wall as well because it just it was just not fitting together for me. And then I tried to make it all blue and that didn't work either. So I just stuck with this. I added a couple light switches in because I'm excited about them, but then I totally forgot to add them to the bedroom and the bathroom, so it doesn't really matter. I ended up doing the doors black, and I tested if the front door and the back door looked good with black, and I ended up changing it back to what I originally had. This bathroom I had so much fun with. For whatever reason, I absolutely love building bathrooms in The Sims. I find them to be the easiest thing to put together for me. I immediately, when I put down the tile and the wallpaper, I had this concept of I want to do it all in black and white and make it look super chic and super like spa luxurious. I ended up doing kind of mood lighting in here, and everything that I picked out, I feel like just went really well with this theme. So this is where my favorite lights came back into play. I wanted to do these RGB lights underneath the shelf that I'm about to put in, and I just absolutely love how this turned out. It's so moody and you can't see the lights from the top down view. I just think it looks super cool. I went with a like mainly white theme on the shelf. I did some black and gray towels at the end, but everything else is white. I just thought the contrast looked a lot better, but I did want to have those black and gray towels because I have a black towel on the towel rack, so I thought that made more sense. This bedroom was a little bit of a struggle, but I think it ended up coming together really nicely. It took me a while to figure out what kind of wallpaper I wanted. I tried a lot of more fun stuff, but I ended up settling on this one with the white baseboard. And same struggle with the dresser. I really wanted to make this vintage one from the high school pack work, but it wasn't working no matter what I did. But I definitely want to include that in one of my future builds because I absolutely love the little mirror that's on the side. I had fun with putting all the little clutter next to the bed, kind of thinking of what the sim would take to bed. Do they journal before bed? Do they read? Ended up putting some books, a journal, incense, and a water bottle over here because I don't know, that's kind of similar to the stuff that I have on my bedside table, just books, a journal, water bottle, that kind of stuff. And I felt like this sim really likes incense. They have it in like 2 other rooms, so why not this one? I think eventually if I was to play in this house, I would add like a wall picture mosaic. See, I'm trying to make that vine curtain work again. I think I'd add like a picture mosaic to the back of that bed because I think that would just be perfect for family pictures and stuff to go above the headboard. And here is the finished product. I think it turned out really nicely, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you guys are interested, this build is on the Sims gallery under my name, Magly May. Thanks, guys. Bye.